To the people of New Zealand.
Mr. Speaker.
I call the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Mr. Speaker, I think the best illustration of the government's position today was the speech by the Attorney General, because that has got to be the weakest defence of colleagues and a Prime Minister that this Parliament has seen for a long, long time. But just to make sure that he felt he was judicially superior to the rest of us, he warned us not to go into the legal details here or offshore, because we would be walking what he said was a very fine line. Well, right now we're not walking any line at all, because we don't know what's going on, and the Prime Minister is the most guilty party in that level of state ignorance. There will inevitably be a diplomatic fallout with the US surrounding this case. This is a government that keeps on going offshore and talking about punching above our weight and being able to be carved apart in foreign affairs in terms of our numbers, and yet still perform and still be efficient. And the first time there's a test internationally of their ability, they come up found wanting. It's going to leave us as a laughing stock on the international stage. The FBI on the other side of the world and the New Zealand police knew more about the residency status of Kim.com than our top-notch intelligence agency. Now, it's a shame to say this, but these two agencies, the SIS and the Government Communications Security Bureau, those two agencies are meant to evince the word intelligence. It means information and the capacity to gain it and acquire it in the national interest. Do they deserve such a name? All this bungling means two things are going to happen. First of all, there needs to be a full-scale inquiry, because the NASA inquiry does not answer any of the questions that now the public and the media are screaming out to have answered. And the second thing is, the Prime Minister better face up with his cabinet that their bungling and incompetence on this matter leads to potentially tens of millions of dollars of compensation going from the hard-working New Zealand taxpayers, for whom they pretend to be on the side of, to a man called Tim.com. Now, I'm not going to waste the speech on the rest of that, but to say this. This is a very profound issue. Public faith and confidence in our government and its agencies has been deeply shaken. It's a long time since I've seen a media scrum where they are there in total unanimous disbelief that this could be happening in their country. And then the Junior Whip can frown over there as though it's of no moment. Well, it's a big moment down in Taupo, I can tell you, because they'll be paying out this compensation in time, and they are as concerned as everybody else that we look like a first world nation. But I've never seen a media scrum so not confused, but so bewildered that this could be the way you handle an issue like this. Internationally, our friends must be scratching their heads in bewilderment. What on earth has been going on? The unlawful action of the GCSB is an issue that goes to the heart of our democracy. This is because the agencies that guard our freedom and security are given exceptional powers, and we do that grudgingly. They're given exceptional powers grudgingly. This is because they guard our freedom and security. We put immense trust in them to follow due process and observe both the letter and the spirit of the law. What the unlawful GCSB surveillance has revealed is that there has been systemic failure across a whole range of agencies. Not just one, but a whole range of agencies. And most importantly, the ministerial oversight has not just failed, it seemingly never existed. Never existed. What we have had from the Prime Minister on this issue is simply dereliction of duty. Another example of his spray and walk away approach to politics. Spray and walk away, as though that will fix it. Of course he should resign. If any other minister had been that incompetent, this Prime Minister would have fired him. And we are saying, Prime Minister, fire yourself. That's how bad your performance has been. The public has been expected to swallow a most astonishing tale. What everyone but the PM knew what was afoot what was going on. The most powerful man in the country claims that he was in the dark. Just down the road from his electorate office is one of the most plush mansions in the whole country, with one of the biggest characters this country's ever seen.
Didn't notice.
And the office had been visited twice by Kim.com's staff, and the PM didn't know. They have a massive $500,000 Guy Fawkes in Auckland, and the PM, the man that always has his finger on the pulse, didn't know. Seemingly all his colleagues over there didn't know either. Who believes that? His negligence, evasion and incompetence mark a new low in Prime Ministerial performance. Can you imagine Holyoake behaving like that? Or Norman Kirk? Or Muldoon? Or for that matter, Bolger or Clark? Taking those views, treating those responsibilities in such a cavalier fashion. Can you imagine them behaving like that? The public want and are entitled to plain speaking and straightforward answers. We must now have a full-scale inquiry with no stone left unturned. All agencies involved, the police, DPMC, SIS, Crown Law, GCSB and all the relevant ministers must be asked to account fully for the part they played in their fiasco. You can't say it's a matter of the law, that they didn't understand the law. Crikey, you've got all manner of immigration agencies and junior lawyers handling immigration matters, and they all understand what a permanent resident is. And even this man who can't speak English all that well, but he's acquiring a lot of knowledge now that he's living here as a permanent resident, he's a foreigner, but he understands the law better than our intelligence agency. Is that possible? Well, it defies credibility. The NASA report answers nothing. It raises more questions than its answers. What is at the heart of this fiasco? A Prime Minister who is a CV Prime Minister. He doesn't take the job seriously, but he loves travelling with all the security agents. Goes off to the mansions in Hawaii, whole plane load of New Zealand security guys. At whose expense? Well, I'm talking to them right now if they're watching TV. We're all paying. He goes for a coffee uptown, 4 security officers. Unbelievable. Never seen that before. He loves the job. But when it comes to responsibility, that is the hard yards of doing the research, doing some work. No, no, no. This is a typical Merrill Lynch white boy. Oh, smile and spin. Move on. Decision this hour, move on next hour, move on. Never take responsibility, because you don't have to have an enduring principle of accountability when you're a Merrill Lynch man. He would not read the police report on John Banks. He said he knew nothing about his rail shares. He had 15 meetings with GCSB this year. 15 meetings, and we're asked to believe that Kim.com never came up. Well, what on earth did? That was more important. What were the other things that came up that were more important than Kim.com, given that our relations with the United States are important? It all comes down to a question of responsibility. Now is the time for our Prime Minister to take full responsibility and resolve this issue clearly and have a full-scale inquiry. Every time he's answered questions in this House, he's been found wanting. Mr. Spray and walk away. The man who loves free party handshakes. The man who'll go to an opening of an envelope. The man who loves mincing on the fashion walks. But when it comes to defending the integrity and reputation and character of our country, he thinks it's of no matter whatsoever, that he shouldn't even bother, even though he sits there with the warrant for both SIS and the GCSB. No substance is what the Prime Minister is evincing and indicating now, and the sooner his colleagues wake up the better, because I'm afraid that more of this behaviour means it's good night nurse for you at the next election.
I call Charles Chauvel. It's a 5-minute call. I'll ring the bell at 4 minutes.
Thank you.